Shivali and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing well. I don't want to bring up the dreaded C word too much, but if you're in the UK like me, we're in our 5th week of lockdown now. So yeah, there's only so many puzzles and colouring books you can plough your way through. So to help you fill your time stuck in lockdown, I've come up with 5 really easy, really fun science experiments that you can do at home using things you'd find in the kitchen or the bathroom. So they're really fun. They're probably best aimed at kids, but I mean, I'm 28, I don't have kids, and I found them really fun. So yeah, feel free to give them a go. If you do, please do tag me on social media. I'd love to see. And yeah, let's get on with the first experiment. So the first experiment has been doing the rounds on social media over the last few weeks, and all it involves is a white plate, some tap water, which I have in a little glass ramekin here, some black pepper, I got some that you just grind, but you can use any kind you have in the kitchen, and some soap. So what we're going to do is take the tap water and pour it into the centre of the plate here, just so it fills that middle well. Next, take your black pepper and grind that all over the water, or sprinkle it if it's not the type that you grind, just so it kind of covers the plate of water there. So for the first part of the experiment, you're simply going to take your finger and place it in the middle of the plate. Nothing happens. Sorry to let you down, but yeah, that's an important part to show how the next part is so exciting. So next, we're going to take the soap. Squeeze a tiny bit on your finger, literally just a tiny bit needed, and do the same thing again. So touch your finger to the plate, and this time you'll notice the pepper quickly jumps away from your finger. You'll feel like Matilda, like a magician, and it's pretty exciting. So the way this works is that water sits on the plate with a high surface tension. So when you add the pepper, that sits on the top of the water. When you normally touch your finger to the plate, nothing happens because your normal finger doesn't break the surface tension. However, when you squeeze the soap on your finger and touch the plate again, the soap breaks the surface tension, so those water molecules that were really closely attracted to each other no longer are attracted, and they quickly move to the sides of the plate, taking the pepper with them. So what's the point of that, you might ask? Well, in the coronavirus pandemic, a lot of parents have been using this to show their kids the importance of washing their hands with soap. So you could explain that the pepper represents the virus. So if you just wash your hands with water, the virus can still end up on your hands. Whereas if you wash your hands with soap, the virus can't get to you. So yeah, a really simple and easy one to start off with. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. So for the second science experiment, we're going to be trying to make our own lava lamps. So for this one, you're going to need either a bottle or like a glass or something with about 1/3 full of water. Some oil, I'm using sunflower oil, but any oil you've got around the house is fine. Some Alka-Seltzer tablets or any kind of effervescent tablets will be fine. And finally, some food colouring. So we're going to take the glass of water that's about 1/3 full and fill the other 2/3 with oil. So just pour that in there. You'll see that as we pour it, the two don't mix. So the oil will slowly settle. We give it a minute at the top of the glass while the water settles at the bottom. And that is because water has a higher liquid density than oil, so it will sit below it. So that's pretty much settled now. Next up, we're going to take some food colouring. I've gone for some green, but any colour you fancy. And just add a little bit of this, not too much, so just a little dash. That should be plenty. So as you can see, the colouring quickly broke through the oil level and went down into the water, and has now turned this water a lovely green colour. So it looks pretty cool at the moment, but I wouldn't really call it a lava lamp, and that's where the Alka-Seltzer tablet comes in. So I'm just going to open one of these, come in a little sachet, Here you go. And what I'm going to do is break that up into small pieces and drop them in. So let's see what happens. So again, like the food colouring, the tablet went straight through the oil level and into the water. And as you can see, as that tablet starts bubbling away in the water, it pushes gas up and up through the oil, creating a little lava lamp. So if we give that a few seconds there to kind of get going, you'll notice it looks like a lava lamp. If you do want to make it look extra special, you could turn the lights off, get yourself a flashlight and look at it through that so you can really see it in effect. But a really fun and easy way to use kitchen and bathroom products to make something pretty cool. So for our third science experiment, we are going to make invisible ink. So all you're going to need for this is some paper, some lemon juice. I've already squeezed some out into this little ramekin here, and cotton bud like this. So what you're going to do is take your paper, dip the cotton bud into the lemon juice, and write out your secret message. It doesn't need to be too thick, and because it's invisible, you won't see it while you're doing it. Okay, once you're happy with your secret message, we're going to need to heat this up to make the invisible ink appear. So if you are a child, then please do ask an adult to help you with this part. And yeah, let's head over to the kitchen. So I'm over in the kitchen now, and I've put this hob on just on like a 7, nothing too high. And what we're going to do is place the secret message over the heat and it will slowly appear. So again, please be very careful doing this on a hot hob. Do not set your paper on fire, especially if you're using one with a fire or like a gas stove. So we're going to place the paper here over the heat, let it sit for a few minutes, and we'll see what happens. So I'm back from the kitchen and my not so secret message has now appeared. So I went for I love you, felt cheesy, but you can write whatever you want. The way this works is that we used lemon juice as the invisible ink. As you might know, lemons are acidic, so when you put them on the paper, the acid slowly starts to break down the paper. So you can see a lot of the paper has burnt, but these areas in particular have gone very dark. And that's because the paper from the acidic lemon is already weak. So those areas become really brown and your invisible ink appears. So that's super easy, literally one ingredient and a few extra bits, and a really fun way to make your own invisible ink. So for the next experiment, we are going to make a naked egg. So unsurprisingly, you're going to need an egg, which I have here, any kind of container, so I've just gone for a glass, but you could use a mug, a bowl, whatever you want. Place your egg in the cup. Go and smash that there. Grab some vinegar, so I've got malt vinegar here, but any vinegar you have at home should be fine. Open that up, and you're going to cover the egg in vinegar. So all the way up to the top, completely covering the egg here. Now with this experiment, unfortunately, it does take about 24 hours for the egg to become naked. So we're gonna completely cover that. Maybe a bit more just to be safe. And I'm gonna leave that overnight. Check back in with you tomorrow, and we'll see if it's naked, and we'll also learn the science why. As you can tell by the quick outfit change, this is another day. So I know I said in the last clip that the naked egg experiment would likely take about 24 hours, and I'm sorry, but I lied. This is actually 48 hours after I first put the vinegar on the egg. I checked on it after 24 hours and it was definitely starting to go soft, but I wasn't quite happy with how naked it was. So what I did was I emptied out the vinegar, so I used my hand as a sieve, poured the vinegar out, and filled it with fresh vinegar and then left it for another 24 hours. So yes, I would recommend doing that. My fault for mistaking that in the first place, but I mean, with science experiments, you learn as you go. So yes, 48 hours later and we are here now. So this is my egg here in the vinegar. You probably can't see that much there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna nip to the kitchen, wash the vinegar off and make sure all the shells come off and then come back here. So as you can tell from the previous clip, to get rid of the shell, you do need to really gently rub away at the shell. It's very fragile, so make sure you're not too vigorous with it. But yeah, just a few minutes of rubbing it away. You might have a few areas, like I had a few areas left like this, where the shell doesn't completely come away, but you get the gist of it. It looks so impressive. I'm not sure you can see, I'll do a close-up as well, but it has the kind of consistency of a bouncy ball, so really squishy, but if you move it around, you can see the yolk still moves around the inside, so it's liquid inside there. And at the end, I'm gonna cut it open. I know I spent 48 hours making this, but yeah, I can't resist breaking it open, so I'll show you that at the end. So a little bit about the science behind this. So the eggshell is made of a substance called calcium carbonate, while the vinegar contains something called acetic acid. Now, when you put these things together, they react over time. So that acetic acid slowly breaks down the eggshell, eventually creating calcium acetate, water, and carbon dioxide. So at the beginning of the experiment, once you put the egg in, you may have noticed some little gas bubbles appearing on the outside of the egg. And this was the carbon dioxide as the reaction started to take place. So as you leave it for longer, eventually the whole shell breaks down and you're left with the inside of the egg. So I'd be careful with this. I wouldn't use it as a bouncy ball. It might feel like it, but yeah, don't go splatting that around your house anywhere. Now, what would a fun science experiment video be without some slime? So for the fifth experiment, I'm going to show you a really quick and easy way to make your own slime at home. So I've got an empty bowl here, some corn flour here, just some water, and if you want to make your slime different colors, you're going to need a little bit of food coloring. So I've got some orange here, just going to add a few drops of that to the water. That's going to quickly turn a gorgeous shade of orange. There we go, give that a mix. Okay, so you're going to start off by taking your corn flour and putting quite a good amount into your bowl. It can be a bit messy, so be careful. So I've just put about that much in. Now, really slowly, you're going to add your food colouring and water. You don't need a lot, so just add a tiny bit at a time. You can always add more, you can't take it away. So let's start with a tiny bit. And for this, you're going to have to get your hands in there and give it a mix. So I'll add a little bit more. You all know what a slime consistency is like, so keep adding until you've reached your desired consistency. So keep mixing that in there. Make sure it's all nicely mixed. Oh, and you've got your own slime. So, it's so satisfying to play with. As I said, I'm 28, but I don't think anyone ever stops finding slime fun to play with. So while this is pretty fun to play with, there's also some actually quite interesting physics going on. So when you pick it up like that and let it run through your fingers, it acts just like a liquid. But if you hold some in your hand and hit it, it feels like a solid. And that's because the corn flour particles are actually just suspended in the water. They're not completely mixed. So when you let it run like this, the corn flour particles slowly run past each other and act like a liquid. But if you have some in your hand and hit it, the corn flour particles quickly lock together, making it feel like a solid. And that's what we call a Newtonian fluid. So while you're having fun playing with your slime, remember there's some actually very interesting physics going on behind it. So those are all 5 science experiments that I'm going to show you today. I really hope you try them yourselves and that you find them fun. I have a science degree, but I would not call myself a scientist by any stretch of the imagination, and they are so easy to do, so hopefully you guys manage to do them as well. As I said at the beginning, if you do try any of them, then please tag me. I would love to see them. All of my social media links are in the description box below. As I mentioned previously, I'm still very new to YouTube. This is only my 3rd video, so please leave any feedback you have for me below, and let me know if you want me to do any more science experiments in the future. The opportunities are endless, and I would love to do some more for you guys. Thanks a lot, bye!